let us repeat where we were discussing with stereoisomers. Stereoisomers were categorized into two forms, if you just recall. One was conformers, the other one was configurational. Conformation we have studied where we have only rotation or bending of bonds. Rotation or bending of bonds. Okay. So with respect to any single bonds, we used to rotate this, and based on that, we used to get different conformations. In configurational, we will break and make the bonds, but on same position. So from the carbon where we have broken the bonds, and we have to make the bonds on the same carbon, except that here we have to put new orientation. So breaking and making the bond on the same position with new orientation. Then we will get configurational isomers. Okay. So two types of stereoisomers, conformational and configurational. Within configurational, we have two kinds of isomers. One is geometrical, and the other one is optical. All right. So here geometrical will have restricted rotational bond. Okay. RRB means restricted rotational bond. Here this has non-restricted. Got it? Or here optical has only to do with, got it, non-restricted, or we can say that distance between groups is same. Anyways, we will dig into more details about optical when we discuss about it. As of now, our entire focus is about geometrical isomers. So geometrical isomers is a kind of configurational isomer where the most important criteria is a restricted bond. Isomers in general, these are stereoisomers which have different 3D arrangement around RRS or RRB. Okay, restricted rotational bond or restricted rotational system, or you can also call this as restricted rotational bond. And these are called geometrical isomers. We denote them as GIs, which means geometrical isomers. Another important point about geometrical isomers are these GIs are also called or termed as diastereomers. Well, diastereomers comes with a terminology. Diastereomers are those isomers which are not mirror images of each other. Diastereomers are those stereoisomers which are not mirror images of each other. So one thing, let me just brief around here about geometrical isomer. It is a configurational isomer. Here also there is a breaking and making of bond, but at the same position, but new orientation. One very important deal here is we need to have a restricted rotational system. They are also termed as diastereomers because they won't be mirror images of each other. Like cis and trans are not mirror images of each other. Okay, everybody. So just watching the compounds, we should be able to identify whether they are geometrical isomers or not. If it is about a double bond, which is a restricted bond, correct? So a double bond is a restricted bond. How come it is restricted bond? Suppose if you have C double bond C, here let's say we have methyl and methyl group, hydrogen and hydrogen. If you want to rotate it by 180 degrees with respect to this one, this bond, if you want to rotate by 180 degrees and try to make it as C double bond C with methyl and hydrogen, with hydrogen and methyl. So it becomes impossible at room temperature. At room temperature, to rotate this pi bond, we require at least 67 kilocalories per mole of energy. Okay, which is not possible at room temperature. Not possible at room temperature. Yes, if you have around 200 to 400 degrees centigrade, from there you can convert one cis form to trans form only by heating. But generally, if you have to convert at room temperature, we cannot convert them only by rotating. Here we have to break the bond and then only make the bond. How do we do that? See, first, if you want to convert this form, these two hydrogen form, into this form where you have C double bond C with methyl here and two hydrogens here. So I want to convert from this A type to B type. Then what will I do? I will break the bond here. I will break the bond here. And then I will put this hydrogen on the same carbon but with a different orientation. This methyl with a different orientation. So you could see that we are breaking the bond and remaking the bond at the same position but with different orientation. So this type is called geometrical isomerism. Okay, everybody. Now here one very important condition is that in case if you have same groups, okay, if we have same groups, then there won't be geometrical isomers. Okay, so therefore there should not be identical grouping at any particular center. Which means, suppose if you have C double bond C here, and let's say have hydrogen and chlorine on this side, and two hydrogens here. Now, what we are thinking like, okay, maybe I'll break the bond and make the bond. But here, if you check out, even without breaking the bond here, suppose if you rotate or if you just break these two bonds and make it in the same position, hydrogen, chlorine, and hydrogen and chlorine. Let me give two different colors to this. And now this is that hydrogen and this is that other hydrogen. Does it make any difference here? Because property wise there won't be any difference. Name wise there is no difference. Okay, which means the amount of energy required here to break and the amount of energy required here to make is same, which means these two molecules are identical. Understood, everybody? So this 1 and 2 are same. So 1 and 2 are identical, or we also use the word superimposable. Superimposable means I can take this molecule and put it on this, it would look exactly same. Everybody got this idea? So to show geometrical isomerism, these two groups should not be same. They have to be different groups. Then only after making the bonds, we will have difference in their energies. I think all of you understood that. Yeah. So these are very important pointers from geometrical isomerism point of view. Now, do we have restricted bond only in carbon double bond, C double bond C? Not necessary. Let us see all the cases now where we can see restricted bonds, restricted rotational systems. Everyone, first case where we have C double bond N, got it, or N double bond N. On these two systems, or we can also have O double bond O. In these three systems, we can also see uh, geometrical isomerism possessed. For example, if you have C double bond N, okay, we'll start with C double bond C first. Let me explain you one simple thought. Suppose if we have A and B, two different groups, here also have A and B, two different groups, correct? Check out the length here between A and A. If you check out the length, I'll call it as L1. And same group, if at all after orientation has changed, A and B, here I have B and A. This time the distance here between A and A is L2. Definitely you will find L1 is not equal to L2. This is another way of looking at geometrical isomers. So the distance between the groups has to be changed when it is geometrical isomerism. In fact, this is the most important difference between geometrical isomerism and optical isomerism. In optical isomerism also, you are breaking the bond, you are making the bond, but the distance is not changing. While here, the distance between the two groups will change. So another way of looking at geometrical isomerism is always this. Check out the distance, whether the distance has changed or not. On that view, let us see what are the different names we usually give for geometrical isomers. So let me just write down in all the rotational systems. The first thing what we are seeing is the classification of geometrical isomers, in which we are more concerned about this C double bond N, N double bond N, O double bond O. Here you would see first, suppose if you have C double bond N and I have two groups here, I have some R group and a lone pair, because nitrogen will have three bonds and a lone pair. Okay. Now, these type of groups where you have C double bond N with alkyl groups on all the positions, these are called imines. Just like amines, these are called imines. This is a family of compounds called imines. Now within imines, I can have C double bond N with some CH3 group here, H group here, CH3 group here, and a lone pair. I'm taking this as an example. Now how do we read it? From here, we will check this hydrogen and this lone pair which is present. If hydrogen and lone pair present are on the same side, these two are on the same side, then we will say that they are syn to each other, syn isomers, or syn geometrical isomers, syn isomer. Okay, how we have seen H and lone pair are same sided. This is the way you need to look. Suppose if you have the other form where we have CH3 here, lone pair here, H and CH3, then we will call it as anti-isomer. Here H and lone pair are opposite sided, so we call it as anti-isomer. So in case of simple imines, how syn and anti-geometrical isomers are observed, I hope you understood this classification. Got it? So first one being syn and anti-classification. I'm coming there. Suppose if you, that was the first example where I took hydrogen and lone pair as a reference, correct? Suppose if you have C double bond C, on one side I have methyl, the other side I have ethyl, and now this side I have nitrogen with a lone pair, and maybe here also I have methyl. Got it? Now this time I will see between these two which is less bulkier group. Less bulkier group is methyl, and that I'll compare with the lone pair now. Just like how I compared hydrogen and the lone pair, this time it is less bulkier group and the lone pair. Okay, so less bulkier group, which is methyl, and lone pair are same sided, so we call that as syn. Got it? If you have C double bond N, lone pair, methyl with, sorry, these are opposite sided, no, same sided. If we have ethyl and methyl here, now this is the less bulkier group, and I'm comparing that with lone pair. Here also I compared that with lone pair. Now these two would make what isomer beta? Anti. So I guess all of you understood that. I'll give one more example. Suppose if you have C double bond N, imagine I have methyl here, and this is, I will write this as ethyl, methyl, ethyl here, and I have lone pair here with nitrogen as H. Here also you will still check out lone pair and methyl only. Understood? How this methyl and lone pair is present, how they are aligned with each other, opposite to each other, so that is still going to be anti. Okay, another example, C double bond N, I have phenyl and a lone pair. Here also I have phenyl and ethyl. Now which one should we compare? Between phenyl and ethyl, ethyl is smaller group, less bulkier group, and then we have lone pair present on it. So now what would this become? Syn isomer. No, that's just a way based upon, see, to generalize that, we have a general form called E and Z. Okay, and that will complement this. That's why we are taking it as less substituted and lone pair. See, lone pair is like the least substitution, right, beta? Because there is nothing on it. Understood? And on the left side also, if we see the least substituted or the less bulkier, if you compare both of them, if they are on the same side, I will call it as syn. If they are on the opposite side, I'll call it as anti. The other way, you know, some books use the other way also, like more bulkier and the other group other than the lone pair. For example, here, more bulkier and then other than lone pair, what we have. Compare these two, then you will get same, syn. Okay. So syn and anti type of conformations, isomers in imines is clear. Same syn and anti, we can see this classification in oximes also. Oximes. Now what are these oximes? When you have C double bond N, N has OH group, and here we have lone pair. Instead of H, if it is OH, we call it as an oxime. Okay. So in oxime, suppose on the left hand side there is hydrogen. Then in oxime, the way to judge is hydrogen and OH. If hydrogen and OH are on the same side, we call it as syn. H and OH, same side, same sided, we call that as syn isomer. If H and OH are opposite sided, we call it as anti. Okay. So H and OH, you can see that how they are aligned with each other. Now here if we check out C double bond N, lone pair, OH here, H here and R here. Now here you can see H and OH are opposite sided. So what do we call it? Anti. And here it is syn. I think all of you understood that, which is syn and which is anti in this case. This is when you have oximes. Oximes is that family where you have C double bond N with OH present on it. If there is OH, then only we call it as oxime. See, only in the case of hydrogen and OH, I would suggest you to compare in that form. Otherwise, simply go ahead with, you know, more bulkier and less bulkier. Okay. This is how you compare in the case of C double bond C. Now, in case if you have last case, if you have azo groups, azo group as in when you have N double bond N with a lone pair and some other group. This is an azo form. So in azo form, if you have to compare, like you have N double bond N, I have one lone pair here, one lone pair here, and with any R and R group here, correct? You can either compare lone pairs or R groups, that's all. So if both lone pairs are on the same side, lone pairs, opposite side, what do we call them? Anti. If lone pairs, same sided, we call them as syn. So here we call it as anti form. So I can take N double bond N, lone pair here, hydrogen here, phenyl here, and another lone pair here. So what is this one now? This is still going to be syn form. N double bond N, I have lone pair, methyl here, lone pair, ethyl here. So this will still be syn form. Either you compare both H or lone pair. They should be, if they are same sided, that should be syn. This way it is there now, beta, hydrogen and hydrogen. What is this one? This is still syn. Your case, N double bond N, methyl is there, ethyl is there. You put it this way. What is this one? Lone pairs are opposite. So what is this? Has to be anti. See, syn and anti is usually used when you have C double bond N, N double bond N, right? C double bond O. In those cases only we will use syn and anti. If you have C double bond C, we will always use it as cis and trans. Okay. For example, if you have C double bond C and two groups here, okay. Let's say we have Cl, H, H, and Cl. Okay. In these cases, we will always check out the more bulkier groups. Okay. Here, even if you check less bulkier group, it will give the same result. But you can see both bulkier groups, chlorines are bulkier groups, they are on the same side. So what do we call them? This is called as cis isomer. If you have C double bond C with Cl here, H and H here, the comparison I'm doing is between Cl and Cl. So that will be trans isomer. So cis and trans isomers. So we have to just check which cases it will be cis and which cases it will be trans. Everybody understood that? Let me take one more simple cases. Suppose if you have C double bond C and I have methyl, ethyl, okay, hydrogen and propyl, because I'm taking all different groups just to be clear with you. Now here you will just check out more bulkier groups. Ethyl is more bulkier on the left hand side, propyl is more bulkier on the right hand side. So we'll just simply call it as cis kind. If you have any other group like phenyl, ethyl, and I have hydrogen, methyl. In this case, phenyl is more bulkier. Here it is methyl more bulkier. So it should be trans. Well, you must be wondering, sir, how do we decide the bulkiness? Okay, we have separate rules for it. As of now, just be focusing on ethyl, methyl, propyl, phenyl, only that much. But we have a generic way of writing the rules of which is the most bulkier form. But in case of simple groups, you should be able to figure it out. Hydrogen is the least priority. Got it? Then it is methyl, then ethyl, okay, propyl, phenyl. Phenyl is more bulkier. Okay, beta. So as of now, remember this one in terms of bulkiness. No, beta. Even if you have two different same groups here, they won't be cis or trans, right? Suppose if you have C double bond C, I have hydrogen and methyl, and I have ethyl and ethyl. What is this isomer? These are no geometrical isomers because two groups must be different. Then only it will show geometrical isomers. Correct? So this molecule does not show any geometrical isomers. With charge, it is possible. Like we have C double bond OH with positive charge and a lone pair like this. Then it is possible. Okay. The next important case where you find cis and trans, what the main topic what we are discussing is rotational restricted rotational bonds, right? Now in this we discussed the classification of syn and anti and cis and trans. Here restricted bond can be arised by the other cause, which is by cyclic forms, right? So this is like the second category. Cyclic forms can also show restricted rotational system, RRS. Now how would this show? Let us see. Suppose in case if we have a cyclohexane. Now although it is a single bond, there is a hydrogen here, there is a hydrogen here. Okay, although there is a single bond here, can we rotate it? Got it? Without changing the conformational form. Suppose if it is a chair form, within the chair form, can we rotate carbon-carbon single bond? It won't be possible, right? If we rotate it, it will break. The chair has to either convert into boat or half chair, something like that, or else without changing the chair form, or let us imagine this is a planar cyclohexane, and without changing that planarity, can we rotate this carbon-carbon single bond? We cannot rotate. So here the rotation is not possible. So this is the highlighted one is a restricted, this carbon-carbon is a restricted, is a RRS system. Okay. So with respect to that also, if we have two different groups, yes, we can also possess cis and trans isomerism. For instance, if we have and chlorine here, let's say, which means these two chlorines are coming out of the plane. Okay. And here if we have hydrogen, there will be two groups here, no? One is hydrogen. So both hydrogens are going inside, chlorine is coming outside. And if I break those bonds, if I break this chlorine, this hydrogen bond and chlorine bond, and make it such a way that I will get chlorine on the back, hydrogen on the front, and here also chlorine on the front and hydrogen on the back, then this compound 1 and 2 are definitely geometrical isomers of each other. Got it? And since chlorine and chlorine, both of them are on the bulkier groups, which are on the same side as they are coming out, I will call this as cis kind, and here I will call this as trans kind. B part. Suppose in case if we have double bond here and chlorine here and chlorine here, observe it very carefully that here this carbon is sp2 hybridized, this carbon is sp2 hybridized. So it demands for planarity. So it has to be planar. So you can see with respect to this carbon, this chlorine, this carbon and this carbon, that would make a planar structure. So the structure would be like this, right? So this is the planar structure with respect to that carbon, which means this carbon has only one open bond now because other two bonds are restricted. Even if you break this bond, suppose if at all I break this bond of chlorine, if at all I break this bond here, where will I make the bond again? On the same carbon, that is the same position which is available. It does not have multi orientations. It can have only one orientation. And from that only you have plugged out the chlorine. So you have to put it back there only. There is no other form. So can we get geometrical isomers with this? No, we cannot get geometrical isomers. So within the cyclic form, if there is a double bond already present, you cannot get geometrical isomers with respect to that. But since chlorine in chlorine, because these two chlorines are on the same side here, right, I can call it as a cis form. Cis form exists, but trans form does not exist. But trans form does not exist. So it does not exhibit geometrical isomerism. But if the question was asked, like, what is the form, whether it is a cis or trans form, you can say. But whether it will give geometrical isomers, no. Because for geometrical isomers, you need to have both cis and trans form. All of you understood the case B? No geometrical isomers, only cis exist. So general definition is cis means same side, trans means opposite side. That's all you need to know. Whether they will exist in the form of a whether they will exhibit geometrical isomerism or not, that depends upon whether they are cis or trans both existing or not. Now what we'll do a lot of questions where you have to tell us whether geometrical isomerisms can be shown by these molecules or not. Okay, so write the examples with me. Everyone start writing all examples of the following. Which of the following? First we'll start with alkenes can show geometrical isomers. Does it have geometrical, will it show geometrical isomerism? No. Second one? No. Third one? Yes. Fourth one? No. Next one? E, yes. Four are different groups. This side also there are different groups. This side also there are different groups. No, that is only E and Z forms. These are not cis and trans forms. Okay, because we cannot figure out which is bulkier, no? So we have to apply all the rules. When you apply all the IUPAC rules, then you do not call it as cis and trans. We call E and Z. Okay. Next, this one. No, with respect to triple bond, we cannot have. Here, G form. In G, yes. If you observe carefully, all of them are different groups. Left side, there is an ethyl group and a hydrogen. Right side, there is a methyl group and a hydrogen. If you ask as an overall molecule, you will, the answer should be yes. If you ask with respect to every single bond, with respect to every double bond, this double bond does not show geometrical, but this double bond will show. No, beta, triple bond already, it has only single orientation left, correct? Even if you break the bond, where is the orientation you will put? This time, I'll give you cyclic forms. You have to tell me which of them will show geometrical or not, okay? Which of the following show GIs, geometrical isomerism forms? Correct. Starting with this. No. Second. No. Third. No. Fourth. Yes. Now these two methyls can be same sided or opposite sided. Understood? Okay. Those who are not able to get that, they will check out this one. See, if I gave you this way, what does this mean? In 3 dimension, if you observe, basically I have methyl group and hydrogen. And here also I have methyl group and hydrogen. Now I can interchange both of them, right? I can interchange both of them to get isomers. So here you can see I can interchange this hydrogen and methyl. So I'll get methyl here, hydrogen here. So you can see methyl are on the same side, which is coming out of the plane. So this is a cis kind, and they are opposite to each other. So that is a trans kind. So when you are able to write this form, which means this molecule can show cis and trans isomers. Anti or syn. Ha, beta. We can have N double bond N, any restricted bond where carbon, only 2 carbons are not used. Like you can use nitrogen, 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 oxygen, carbon, nitrogen. If these combinations are there, then you use the terminology syn and anti. Next one. Yes or no, guys? Yes. Next one. Yes, very good. This one. Yes, here also I can exchange methyl down and hydrogen up. So this is cis. If I put the opposite way, that will be trans. Okay. Next, what about this one? No. What about this one? No. Very good. Very important. Okay. In cyclic form, if there is already a double bond, then we have only one orientation left. So we cannot have cis and trans both. Only we can have cis form. If the question was asked, which of the following can show cis form or one of the geometrical form, then this is correct, because this is showing only cis form. What about the next one? No. This one? No, because it is planar now, same problem. What about this one? Yes. What about this one? No, because you have C double bond N and OH. Right side there is two different groups. Here there are same groups. Okay. Now check out nitrogen and nitrogen here. This is restricted bond. Instead of double bond, I can make a restriction by cycle also. Okay. So here I can arrange these methyl up and lone pair down. I can do that. So yes, this will also show geometrical isomers. Write one more like a bonus. Suppose if you have, suppose there are two methyl groups here, methyl, methyl, iodine, chlorine. Does this show geometrical? This is with respect to chlorine and iodine, it will show. Okay. This two methyl group, this has no role here because this carbon has two same groups, right? So that cannot exhibit any geometrical isomerism. But here, chlorine and iodine could be same side or the opposite side. So that will show geometrical isomerism. Okay, everybody's done with this. So let us write one by one. Let's see the first one. What is this one? Third one. Fourth one. Fifth one. All of these are cis forms. Next, this one. Trans. Here, cis. Next one. Next one. None. Why? This side hydrogen. If nothing is mentioned, the other side is also hydrogen only. Clear, everybody? We need to have two different groups, na beta. So it won't exhibit any kind of cis or trans here. Clear? Next one. Right. So for this one, you have to go individually. Methyl methyl is cis. This methyl ethyl is cis. This methyl methyl is also cis. Okay. Overall, it is a cis form. Got it? So suppose if both sides there are cis, one side there is trans, we cannot say it completely as a cis or trans. We have to show them, we have to tell that these two methyls are cis to each other and methyl ether are trans to each other, like that. Okay, if nothing is, if all of them are on the same side, then we can definitely say this is a cis type. Next one. This one. Next one. Trans. Next one. Next one. Last one. Cis. Okay. I want you to tell me relation between A, B, C. A and B are cis and trans isomers. But are they geometrical isomers? First of all, for geometrical isomers, structure should be same. Please don't forget that. Okay. Structurally, it is not same at all. It is a positional isomer where methyl and double bond position has changed. Everybody got that? Yeah. So what we can say, A and B are positional isomers. It doesn't matter whether they are cis and trans. As long as we have structural isomers, that should be given the more priority. Everybody. You do not call them as positional as well as geometrical. Understood? We will say geometrical isomers only when their structure is exactly same. Structurally, there is no problem. Only orientation is a problem. Then only we use the word cis geometrical isomers. Okay. Next, B and C, A and C. Now they are definitely geometrical isomers. Are you sure it is geometrical? No. Double bond position has changed. Yes, structure is not same anymore, because with respect to this double bond now, oxygen numbering was different. Here the numbering is different. So still this is positional. I think all of you understood that, how to identify cis trans and what are geometrical isomers. Okay. Right. So next class we will mostly discuss about all the questions regarding cis trans and E and Z forms. Tomorrow we'll discuss E and Z forms. So that will give you a lot of clarity on it. And then we'll start continuing with optical isomers. This is like a cyclic ether, correct? In the cyclic ether, the numbering will always start with this oxygen. 1, 2, 3, 4. So on the fourth carbon, there is a double bond. And fourth carbon, there is a methyl group. 1, 2. Here, second carbon, there is a methyl group. Second carbon, there is a double bond. Here, 1, 2, 3. On third carbon, there is a methyl group. Double bond. And fourth carbon, there is a methyl group. So positionally, they are same. Now I'll give you one more structure, just a bonus structure now. Same group, got it? Now this time you will actually find them as cis and trans isomers. See how it is. If I write the group this way, now compare A and D, what these two are. See the numbering 1, 2, 3, 4. Here also 1, 2, 3, 4. So structurally both of them are exactly same. So what they are? Because this is cis form, beta. Check out, this is cis form. This is a trans form, this is a cis form. Now these two are geometrical isomers.